everybody. This is Sherry Hayes with MomDelights.com, and today we're going to talk about meal planning, and we're going to use our handy dandy 2022 January, February, March homeschool mom planner and some other little tools. And I'm actually going to sit and plan with you because I think that's what I like to see other ladies do. It really gives me a lot of ideas and makes me feel kind of not so alone. Maybe makes me feel a little normal. So stay tuned and we'll dig in. So I've got all of my, my shopping done, pretty much. I have to pick up a Sam's order, but I know what's in there. I know what's happening with that. So I'm taking all my notes that I've made, my copious notes, and I'm going to go ahead and put them in my, my planner that you guys have all seen before. And you can download this for free at momdelights.com. There's a blog post on planner. There's, just do a search, go to my blog, and then do a search for planner, and this should come up. It's a free thing, so you can download it. But right now, what I've been doing is I'm entering in the different meals that I am deciding on. And that, by the way, I'm in the basement, so you're going to they're all upstairs cooking. They're cooking. They're cooking my beef. They are making some gluten-free, I guess, chicken nuggets or chicken strips, gluten-free. And they also did some gluten-free waffles this morning. So we're trying to, I don't know if I mentioned already that gluten-free stuff is like insanely expensive. And so if you do a little bit of your own labor, it's cheaper. So that's what we're doing this morning. And so people are going to be busy upstairs, and it's going to be a little noisy. I do apologize for that. Right here I'm entering in these meals. So far I have meaty nachos and salad. I have Swiss steak, and I'm going to see, I made a list here, if you can see that. I made a list here of the different meals. So I'm going to, I have spaghetti. I gave up calling it spaghetti many years ago because no little kid can pronounce spaghetti. They say it spaghetti, or, so we call it sketty. That's what we call it. So I have that in there. I'm going to put here a barbecue chicken. So I abbreviate. Call it BBQ chicks. Okay, I don't know if we're going to be able to see that. This is pencil, and it's really light. So I do pencil because I often have to erase. Let's see, sausage and potatoes. Now, as a side with that one, let's see, for sketty, we have bread and like, it's either going to be salad or green beans. I try to keep things as simple and inexpensive as possible. Not always do you have fresh salad in the house, but canned green beans, you can always have those on hand. For the barbecue chicken, what I like to pair that with is some really creamy mac and cheese. And I can make a version of that for my gluten-free daughter using gluten-free pasta. And I really like gluten-free pasta. It's like usually twice as much, per package or per pound, I'm sorry, as the regular, but it's not too bad. It's something that we can afford. Let's see. I've got, okay, mac and cheese. And then sometimes with that, I also like to have, sometimes a little cake made or something pre-made or something, some brownies, maybe some Jell-O. Sometimes just a little cheap dessert to make it special. Not always, but sometimes I do. Okay, now let's see, beef stew or beef tips. Now, I have some, see there, I'm erasing. I have some roast. I found roast for $3.99 a pound. And so what I did is I cut that roast into, I bought 3 of them. I cut one into steaks. The other 2 I cut into little square chunks for either making beef stew or beef tips. Now, the beef stew, I just add, I have a bay leaf maybe, and then some celery, some onion, some carrots, and just the meat. And that's all we put in there. Sometimes I'll put some beef broth. What I do is I take my Instant Pot, and I saute the onion, and then I brown the meat, and then I'll add some beef broth and some water, and then I'll add the other vegetables in. And I'll try to slow cook that in the Instant Pot. But if it gets towards dinner and I kind of started late, then I'll go ahead and pressure cook it the rest of the way. Now, I can do that with beef tips as well, although I don't add the chunkier vegetables. I just mostly concentrate on maybe some onion, maybe put some shredded carrots or something in there, and to make the vegetable really small, and I'll cook that up. And then at the end, I'll take some out for the gluten-free daughter and maybe make her a separate gravy. Sometimes she doesn't really like the gravy made from like potato starch, but you can do that. You can take the broth from when you do your beef, and you can put, just use some I'm sorry, cornstarch. You can do cornstarch if you want to clear potato starch as well. You can use that and just make a gravy and add some like onion powder, you know, just make it interesting. But then I'll put gravy for the rest of us, and then I will cook some mashed potatoes. And I have a trick to that too. I don't know if I'll share it right now, but it's my sneaky trick that I do for mashed potatoes. And then we'll have like, I'll put on here, and with the beef tips, we'll probably have some corn, some canned corn on this side. Okay, and that will be the entire meal. Now, I can also maybe put some bread, because like maybe some cornbread or some muffins or something, or maybe some rolls. So I'll put bread in here, and I'll put it in parentheses. Okay, now I'm going to do another meal, and this meal is going to be my chicken burrito skillet. Okay, so I call it Chick's Burrito Skillet. And all you need with that really is some corn chips and maybe some salsa. No, you don't really need salsa because it has pretty much that, but you might need some sour cream and maybe some guacamole or avocado. Okay, so that's the chicken burrito skillet. This is a really cool recipe. And you can do it in one pot. You can do it Instapot. I use my electric fry pan. I use that, and I do the chicken burrito skillet. Turns out it's like a one-dish meal, and so that makes a really simple thing. You just put it in there, and you close it up, and you just let it cook. Of course, you have to saute the chicken and like the onion, and then you just kind of put everything in. I'll have to go over that recipe and give that to you. Okay, now, number 8, this is my 8th meal I'm putting in here. I'm going to put homemade chili and cornbread, okay? Now, this is pretty simple, too. What you can do is you can make your beans ahead of time, like on Sunday, just put a pot of beans in, and you can use it for a lot of these different things. And then you just add in some like tomato paste or diced tomatoes if you don't mind that. And then you put in some peppers, like, you know, green peppers, and cut them up, and some onion and cut it up. And then you can put like some chili powder or whatever chili seasoning you like. And it's kind of a more sweet chili, and then you put some hamburger, sorry. And so you just kind of cook that all together and let the different flavors meld together. It's really kind of a simple chili, and it's not too thick or creamy. We do that sometimes too. My husband prefers this, but this is like something that the rest of the family will like because it has peppers and onions in it. And sometimes a little bit of tomato that you can see. And so that won't be, I can open up a can of chili that he really likes. He really likes a certain kind. So I'll give that to him, and we'll have this kind that's special to us. So that's something. And so I might put that in here. I'll put on the bottom, okay, canned chili. And I will know that that's for Dad. Like on this chicken burrito skillet, what's for Dad is going to be tacos, because he will not like a lot of the ingredients in this one. Although if you'll notice here, okay, the meaty nachos, which he'll love, is something that's dad-friendly and gluten-free. We can do that. The only problem is if she has, like, she's been going through a sensitivity time to dairy again, which before she was able to do the lactose pills, and it was working, but now it's not. So we might have to do something different for her. I do have some dairy-free shreds that I have that we can use and make her an alternative. But Dad on that day will love this, so we're good. Everybody will be this one. Sketty, everybody loves this. I can do gluten-free on that really easy with some gluten-free noodles. We're good with that. Sausage and potatoes, totally gluten-free meat and potatoes. Everybody's happy with sausage and potatoes. The chicken burrito skillet, well, we have to have a tacos alternative, but see, it works on that day because I put little pouches of just meat that I call taco meat together, and that does his tacos. I have it frozen, and I just pull one of those out. I can make him tacos like that. It's not hard. Okay, and Swiss steak will not work for Dad. So on that day, I think I'll just give him like a hamburger patty or a steak or something. And we'll have the Swiss steak because that's more to our taste and this is more to his taste. But this is definitely gluten-free happy. Okay, the barbecued chicken and the mac and cheese, like I said, that is gluten-free friendly. I can make the mac and cheese with an alternative and we're good. We're happy there. The beef stew and tips, I talked to you how we will adapt that. The homemade chili and cornbread. Now, the homemade chili, totally gluten-free happy. The cornbread, there we have gluten-free flour, and this cornbread is one of the things that is so easy to make gluten-free. So we'll definitely be doing that. Okay, so now I'm going to go to meal number 9, and I was talking about, okay, this is chicken stir fry with rice. Okay, now you would think that this would be totally gluten-free friendly, but it's not if you use regular soy sauce. If you use regular soy sauce, you're gonna run into problems because it has wheat in it, definitely. So what I've been using is Bragg's Aminos as a substitute for soy sauce, and that is totally gluten-free. There, I guess Kikkoman's also makes a gluten-free soy sauce, and I saw it in my store the other day, but it wasn't there when I went to buy it. But anyway, we're going to use Bragg's Aminos, and we can have a separate, when we start adding the sauces in, we'll just pull some out for her. But otherwise, this is totally gluten-free happy. So there's just a slight thing there. I tried to do the meals to where if I have to adapt for gluten-free, I do like the easiest, like adapting recipe I can find. Okay, so then we're going to also do pizza. Now, pizza is a challenge for gluten-free, but you can make your own pizza crust and freeze them. My daughter, she made these little breadstick flats, I think, and then that's what she was using for her pizzas. So pizza is doable for gluten-free. You can buy it, but it's like for this size of a pizza, it's $7. And you know, would expect that, like, I don't know, it's just expensive. But if you can just take your gluten-free flour and some xanthan gum, you know, the tapioca starch, and you do your own little yeasty thing, you can make your own like flats and rounds that are much less expensive. We know that the 1-to-1 gluten-free flour that Bob's Mill puts out, it's compared to regular flour, it's pretty expensive, but it still works pretty well. So as you can see, I've plugged all these in. Now I'm going to go to the ingredients list. For the meaty nachos, I'm going to put beef and chicken or chicken because, and I'm going to try to have this already made up. Beef, I think I'm going to put beef and or pork this time because I'm going to be cooking up a whole bunch of pork and shredding it. And so I think that I will offer beef and pork to put on the nachos. Now we'll need a cheese sauce. I have canned cheese sauce that I bought, and I'm going to do that with this. But I don't really like it because it doesn't taste 100%, and I don't think it's that healthy. But it's just like once in a while. I don't think this is going to be like a regular in our plan thing. I think this is one of those go-to meals when, oh my goodness, it's been a crazy day and I forgot to put stuff in the crock pot or whatever. Or what can we eat? Or we just want to eat something while we're watching a show or something. I can put this together pretty easily. Okay, then we need salad, and I buy the mixes in the bag. Okay, and then we'll need need dressing. You know, I try to think of everything. We need the corn chips. What am I talking about, right? And we need, let's see, what else? We might need some salsa. And, well, maybe some olives. That would be fun. And so I'm going to put all this here. Let's see, what else? We got salsa. We got everything. I think I have everything. Right? Is there anything I'm missing? I don't think so. Okay, so that all together will make some really good meaty nachos, right? Okay, that's easy. We're done. Okay, sketty. So I will need the noodles, and I'll need some GF noodles. I will need some tomato paste. We like to make our sauce using tomato paste with some Italian seasoning, some garlic, some salt and pepper, and we add chicken broth to that, or beef broth, chicken broth, and water, and we just it kind of makes a really thick kind of a sauce. Okay, so I'll put meat broth, so I don't know what kind I'll use, and Italian seasoning, and let's see, okay, and then we'll need some garlic powder. And this is when you start checking and you start thinking, am I low on this? Do I need this? You know, when you're filling this out. Okay, then we've got, garlic powder. Then I've got the noodles. Okay, so then I'll need some salad. And I'll need some dressing. And I'll need some bread. So, like when you French bread, right? I rarely pay full price for French bread because I'm always, every time I go in for milk, I go and I check and see in the day old section of whatever store I'm in. I check and see because they often have, day old French bread, and I get that, and I just stick it in the oven with. I need butter, don't I? And some butter. Oh, and we need some Parmesan to put on it. What? Okay, so I've got all that. So hopefully I've remembered everything. So we've got all this stuff, and now I'm going to do sausage and potatoes. Now with sausage and potatoes, let's see, what would be good with that, do you think? I'm going to have to think. Sausage and potatoes might be good with some apple crisp, and then that would I could put that in the oven, and that would be yum yum. So I need sausage, of course, and I need potatoes, and I need onion, and I need oil, and I need apples, and oatmeal, and I need brown sugar, and I need cinnamon. I've done this so many times. I actually have the recipe for apple crisp is on my fridge, so I can just remember the amounts, but I know it goes in there. Okay, so we need butter for that. Let's see, apples, oatmeal, brown sugar, cinnamon, butter. That's pretty much it. Okay, so we've got that. Okay, sausage, potatoes, onion. So I think we've got that one all laced up. So chicken burrito skillet. Okay, so for this you need chicken chunks, I guess. And you need some onion, and you need some chicken broth. I put chick's broth. And then you need some diced tomatoes, a can of diced tomatoes, a can of black beans, and you could put a can of corn. So this is actually 3 days later. I should do like SpongeBob SquarePants. 3 days later, But what happened was the light battery on my camera died, and then life happened. That never happens at your house, right? So anyway, so what I was doing is I was showing you how to do the ingredients list when you do your meal plans. And now I'm going to show you what I worked on since then, which is because I've already got my groceries. We did all of the food prep. We cooked our meats, and we did some veggies and stuff like that. So, and repackaging, we do repackaging. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, and I made these notes on the different days of the week: Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And I plugged in like what kind of meals do I see happening on those different days, kind of based on what kind of activity level we have, different things, like if it's a church day or church night or whatever. And down here I have some lunch ideas and some breakfast ideas, and this is for baking. I need to bake some things, so I just kind of, use my ruler. This is in my binder that I love. And so I just did this real quick. Now I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take my calendar in my planner, and I'm going to try to plug in the different meals for the different days. And after I do that, then on each day in February, today is currently Monday, January 31st. So, so then I'll be able to plug in all the different things on these days. So then I'll look on my calendar and I'll go, oh, I remember. And it will help me because, I'm just like you. I get really scatterbrained towards the end of the day. So, that's why I keep on track. So I'm not going to do that in front of you because I think you're smart enough. You can figure that out. I mean, just kind of like the guidelines. And so that's my video for today, except I'd like to talk to you about something else. It's a little added bonus. And I'd like to talk to you about something according to Titus chapter 2. It's the older woman's job to teach the younger women how to love their husbands. Now, to help you to understand this, I am a work in progress. And some days I do very well, and other days I have a really rotten, stinking attitude. And I keep very, very busy, so busy that sometimes there's hardly any room for loving my husband. But, I really work on that. And just like he has to really work on that for me, right? It's just one of those things we have to work at. If we have any amount of children, and no matter how old we are, it gets challenging at times, doesn't it? Well, there is this very important word that I think will help. It helps bring it forward. Okay, in Titus chapter 2, and I've written it out here. It says, the older women likewise, that they be reverent in behavior, not slanderers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things. So this is a good thing, that they admonish the young women to love their husbands. Now, look that up in the Greek, and that word for love your husband is philandros. Now, I don't know if you can see that. What's that word? Philandros. Now, philandros has it's a two-part word. The first root is philos, which means loving friend. Isn't that neat? Loving friend. We think of it as brotherly love, but actually it means loving friend. And aner is husband or male companion of a wife. So, yeah, it's your husband. So, I like to think of this as this philandros is to be a loving friend of your husband. And that really I don't know why, it just paints a better picture for me. So here's what it says. I think it's in Bible Helps. On Bible Hub it says, the special affection of a woman for her lifetime mate, husband, embracing him as her calling or stewardship from God. It's only used in Titus 2:4. So your husband is your stewardship. And if you think of a steward was set in charge of like a vineyard or a winery. And the steward was in charge of making, or other things, but that's what comes to mind. And a steward had to make sure that all the supplies were in order, that everything was well cared for and kept up, that was cleaned, taken care of, and, that everything was in good order. And a good steward took something and made it beautiful and functional. A poor steward let everything go to pot and just didn't care and just did the very, very basics, didn't put their heart into it. But a true steward puts their heart and soul into keeping something up and making it better than it was. So if you think of this as in a loving friend of your husband, well, we do things for our husbands. We make sure that they eat good food, that we prepare good food so that they are not only just feel well fed in their stomachs, but they're actually nourished. So it's nourishing food. And we try to give them affection, and we try to take care of their clothes, and we try to do all those things. And that is being philandros. Now, I've got to tell you, in this world today, there is a great dearth of women who understand philandros. We're taught to be kind to ourselves. We got to have self-time. We got to do self-this, and we're the queens. And actually, what it is it's humanism is the worship of the self, as the human self, and feminism, which is the half shell of humanism, which is the worship of the female self or the goddess within, whatever people want to call it. It's just selfishness. I mean, it's just idolatry, self-idolatry. And so we are taught, everything in our culture teaches us to just take care of ourselves and don't worry about our husbands. And some days, your husband can be kind of jerky and maybe he needs a little smacky and not a little nappy. But you know what? Here's the thing that I think we all miss is that women can be jerky too. So, but you know what? In Philippians 4:8, we're not supposed to concentrate on the negative parts. We're supposed to concentrate on what is praiseworthy, what is of noble and good report. And so when we keep this word, philandros, to be a loving friend to your husband, it just puts your mind in a positive attitude so that you can go against what the devil means for your destruction. Because I tell you what, the devil, he doesn't want marriages to stay together. He doesn't want wives to be happy. He doesn't want husbands to be happy. He wants families to be broken up and incinerated so that children grow up with all these phobias and traumas and so they can't think of God in a positive way. We women can stand in the gap and say, no, devil, I am not going to do this to my family. I'm not going to do this to my husband. I'm not going to do this to my kids. It's going to take a sacrifice on my part. But if I have your power in me, and if you will provide for me, God, and I can trust you, then I'm going to choose to be philandros and not the opposite, which I don't even know what that word would be, but it would be really mean. So if this is the gospel. This is the gospel lived out. This is what Jesus said when he said, if someone takes what is yours, do not demand it back. He said, if they want your coat, give them your cloak also. And then he said, if someone smacks you one cheek, give them the other. We can't do these things in our flesh, okay? I think partly he was trying to show us that we can't do it without the power of the Holy Spirit. But we can be willing and we can be trusting, and God can help us to do the things that we need to do. Not because we want to be known as wonderful, not because it's self-fulfilling. It's not about how happy we are, it's how good we are, right? It's a totally different, this is the new kingdom. This is God's kingdom. We see things through new eyes, and God blesses us with joy and peace that passes all understanding. Like the world can't give. All this stuff, all the junk, all the accolades, all the chocolate we can get in the world, does not compare with the joy of the Lord, and that is our strength. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. Just something to think about. And you have a wonderful day. God bless you. Please like and subscribe. Bye-bye.